We are here for another day to share some more Facebook tips for how to get a good night's sleep. And today I have my friend Julie Schiffman with us. We are very fortunate to have her. Julie is internationally recognized as an expert emotional freedom techniques practitioner, which I like to shorten to EFT or tapping. She's been practicing for over 20 years, and 15 of those years were spent working at Dr. McCullough's Center for Natural Health as his chief EFT practitioner. Since its start in 2008, Julie has been a featured presenter for the annual Tapping World Summit. I know a lot of you have seen me forward those on in the past, and Julie will be part of that again this year. Julie has counseled thousands of clients over the years, helping them break through physical and emotional barriers. Her life-changing YouTube videos have been viewed more than 4 million times. And I know you guys have seen those as well, because I have forwarded those on. So if you're watching, if you guys can give us some hearts and some thumbs up so that we know you're there. And if you have any questions anytime, just post those in the comments, and I will try to incorporate those in as we go along. Julie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So let's start way back at the beginning. So what actually is EFT or tapping?
Tapping is exactly what it sounds like, and it looks like this. It's a very gentle tapping procedure that you can actually, anyone can do on themselves. And it is a combination of ancient Chinese acupressure and modern psychology. And so the actual act of tapping is you're tapping on, as you know best, meridians, right? If you're going in for acupuncture, you're going to put those needles in particular meridians. And tapping is similar in that you are stimulating those meridians and that those energy pathways in the body, but you don't need the needles. And that's something that a lot of people actually do like. Yeah. You know, the needles are good too, but yeah.
Especially where you were tapping right there. People don't want me to put a needle right there.
For sure, for sure. And these are all really important points. There's about 10 different points, and it looks like this. And if this is new to somebody, it might look really silly. You know, well, how is, you know, tapping on your head going to help with my stress or anxiety or worries or headaches or knee pain or whatever? But we have found over the years, and I've been doing this for over 20 years, it's definitely getting to be much more widely known now than it was way back when I started. People would look at me like I had 3 heads when I told them we were going to do this tapping thing that was going to help them to reduce pain or stress or that sort of thing.
I bet they thought you were going to dance.
Yeah, right. Well, that always used to be the joke. People used to be like, you know, I do tapping. Oh, tap dancing. I mean, that was, you know, that was always the joke of it. And so what tapping really does, though, is it relaxes the body very much. It relaxes the mind. We know that after many, many years of research that many people have done, that it reduces cortisol in the body, reduces the cortisol levels, it reduces inflammation in the body. It can increase the markers on the immune system. It can reduce all sorts of things in the body. It can reduce stress. It can reduce cravings. It can reduce pain. You know, you name it. We say try it on everything because it's something that really works for just about everything.
So it sounds like it's perfect for what's going on right now. You mentioned cravings. I know a lot of people are eating a lot of sugar and stress. We're under, yeah, just a tiny bit of stress right now.
Right, just a little bit, yeah.
So I'm guessing that's why it helps with sleep, because a lot of times people have problems sleeping because their cortisol levels are too high. So they're having problems managing their stress. So if you can bring your cortisol levels down, a lot of times that makes it easier to go to sleep and stay asleep.
Exactly, exactly. And that's one of the really great things about tapping. And one of the things that I really love about it, there's a lot of things I love about it, but I always say it's sort of a win-win, because you're not only, when you're tapping, you're not only addressing what's going on physically in the body, but you are also addressing the actual underlying stress of what's happening. And so let's say, you know, if you're really worried about what's going on in the world right now, if you're, you know, if you have a lot of stress, if your mind is racing, you have a lot of different worrying thoughts that are going on in your mind, especially before bed, you know, you might feel that in a lot of different ways in your body. And so Like if I'm feeling anxious, I might feel tension or stress in my chest, or I might feel a pit in my stomach or a lump in my throat, or I might feel, you know, some tension in my neck or my shoulders. And if anybody watching this is under stress right now, you can even, you know, think about where you carry stress in your body. And we can't separate the emotional from the physical. Okay. The two, you know, mind, body, spirit, as we say, they're all fully connected. And so if you have a stress about something, you're going to feel it somewhere in your body. Now, whether or not you are attuned to it and aware of it is a different story, but you will, if you really tune into it, you will connect with it somewhere in your body. And you can't really have a physical pain or discomfort in your body without having an emotion about it. And so when you are tapping, we're really addressing the full package. We're addressing what's going on in your mind with the worries or the stress or the emotions, but we are also, you know, your body's listening to you as you're going through this. And it's stimulating the energy in your body and getting the energy moving. And when the energy moves, then we automatically start to sort of come down and relax, you know, which is amazing. That's one of the things that's so great about tapping.
Yeah, in Chinese medicine, obviously, as you know, it's all interconnected, and you can have the emotion, and that can cause physical issues in your body, or you can have the physical issue that causes the emotion. We don't necessarily know which one comes first, but you have to take care of both.
Exactly.
So should we try some tapping so we can let people see what this is before we talk too much?
Absolutely. So I just want to stress that, you know, this is going to be recorded. And so people can come back to this because it's 4 o'clock Central Time here when we're talking. And most people in our time zone are not going to be ready for bed yet. So this might be for people, you know, can be for people anywhere, but know that you can save this and come back to it, because even though we're going to be talking about getting your body to wind down right now and relax and prepare yourself for sleep, you can do this. I do suggest you doing this before you go to bed.
Yeah, and we're going to be saving this to YouTube as well. So we'll get it in the YouTube channel and maybe communicate that to people as well. That might be an easier place to go back to it and get to it more easily.
Absolutely. Okay, so if this is something that's new to people who are watching, just follow along. And you know, we can talk about tapping at another time or any questions, but just follow along with this. I'm going to show you everywhere to tap and everything to say. And I'm going to have you be my echo, Amy. You can follow along with me, okay?
Yeah.
And repeat after me. So what I want everybody to do first is just take a big deep breath in. And release it. And just know this is your time right now. You have a few minutes to just get into your body and to relax. Whatever's going on in the world and whatever's going on in your day, you know, we'll still be here eventually. And this is just your time right now. So connect to the stress in your body and connect to the stress just sort of in the world, in your life, the things that your mind has really been consumed with. And whether that's, you know, the coronavirus, or whether it's around finances or your job, or that your kids are home with you and you're homeschooling, or whatever it is, whatever those things that are sort of consuming your thoughts. And we're going to start tapping. So when you're ready, tapping on the side of the hand, this is where we start. And just repeat after me. Even though I'm having a hard time winding down.
Even though I'm having a hard time winding down.
I'm feeling overwhelmed with thoughts from the day.
I'm feeling overwhelmed with thoughts from the day.
And it's hard to quiet my mind.
And it's hard to quiet my mind.
I'm open to relaxing right now.
I'm open to relaxing right now.
Even though I can't seem to shut off the mental chatter.
Even though I can't seem to shut off the mental chatter.
There's just so much going on.
There's just so much going on.
And I'm worried about so many things.
And I'm worried about so many things.
I know I won't be able to fall asleep.
I know I won't be able to fall asleep.
I honor and accept myself.
I honor and accept myself.
And I'm open to just relaxing my mind and my body.
And I'm open to just relaxing my mind and my body.
Right now.
Right now.
And we're going to tap through the points. So just follow along with me. I can't seem to settle down.
I can't seem to settle down.
I'm having a really hard time.
I'm having a really hard time.
My mind is racing.
My mind is racing.
I'm feeling anxious.
I'm feeling anxious.
I'm just worried about so many things.
I'm just worried about so many things.
I can't stop thinking about what's going on in the world right now.
I can't stop thinking about what's going on in the world right now.
I can't stop worrying about how things will turn out.
I can't stop worrying about how things will turn out.
And this underarm point might be hard for people to see, but it's just sort of right under the armpit there, right on the side there. Good. I'm feeling overwhelmed.
I'm feeling overwhelmed.
I know I won't be able to fall asleep.
I know I won't be able to fall asleep.
For some reason, I need to worry about everything.
For some reason, I need to worry about everything.
I'm just lying here in bed.
I'm just lying here in bed.
Not doing anything.
Not doing anything.
But it might feel like I'm running a marathon.
But it might feel like I'm running a marathon.
I'm worrying.
I'm worrying.
I'm thinking.
I'm thinking.
I'm overthinking.
I'm overthinking.
My mind is racing.
My mind is racing.
I want to relax about this.
I want to relax about this.
But I can't seem to shut it off.
But I can't seem to shut it off.
I feel the need to worry about this.
I feel the need to worry about this.
Worrying makes me feel like I'm doing something.
Worrying makes me feel like I'm doing something.
In a world where it feels like I can't do anything.
In a world where it feels like I can't do anything.
But there are just some things I don't have the answers to.
But there are just some things I don't have the answers to.
And I'm open to relaxing about this now.
And I'm open to relaxing about this now.
Breathing through it.
Breathing through it.
I'm okay.
I'm okay.
I'm letting go of all the tension in my body.
I'm letting go of all the tension in my body.
Releasing the tension in my neck and shoulders.
Releasing the tension in my neck and shoulders.
I'm letting go of the tension in my back.
I'm letting go of the tension in my back.
I'm opening up my chest.
I'm opening up my chest.
Opening up my breathing.
Opening up my breathing.
Maybe I've done enough worrying for today.
Maybe I've done enough worrying for today.
My body is telling me that it's tired.
My body is telling me that it's tired.
And I deserve to relax now.
And I deserve to relax now.
I deserve to relax and let go.
I deserve to relax and let go.
I'm having patience with myself at this time.
I missed that because of a motorcycle.
I'm having patience with myself at this time.
I'm having patience with myself at this time.
I have compassion for my worries.
I have compassion for my worries.
I'm seeing now that when I live in the moment, I am safe.
I'm seeing now that when I live in the moment, I am safe.
It is safe for me to let go for the night.
It is safe for me to let go for the night.
My body is beginning to quiet down.
My body is beginning to quiet down.
It's okay to be calm.
It's okay to be calm.
It's okay to be quiet.
It's okay to be quiet.
Quiet in my mind.
Quiet in my mind.
Quiet in my muscles and joints. Quiet
in my muscles and joints.
Feels easier to breathe.
It feels easier to breathe.
Noticing the thoughts.
Noticing the thoughts.
Letting go.
Letting go.
I'm grateful for this day.
I'm grateful for this day.
And what is to come tomorrow.
And what is to come tomorrow.
I'm ready for a good night's sleep.
I'm ready for a good night's sleep.
And then we just tap the wrist together and say peace.
Peace.
Good. Take a big deep breath in. And let it out. And here I would say, just see how this feels for you. For most people, this will probably feel relaxing whether you're going to sleep or not. And just sort of take an inventory of how you feel.
The video was frozen for me for a minute. Hopefully it was just on the side.
Okay. We'll see.
It's interesting. I want to go back and look at the video because I think you can probably see my shoulders drop midway through.
Yeah, that happens. It's just like a natural, your body will naturally respond to the tapping, you know, again, and regardless of what you're tapping for. If you find that you have a pain somewhere in your body, if you have a craving, we've kind of talked about food, related issues as we're in, at shelter, shelter at home. What is it? Shelter in place, safe, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Quarantine. I was trying to leave that word out, but it's really, the act of tapping is just connecting with what you feel the challenge or the problem is. So the challenge or problem can be a pain, a discomfort, a worry, a fear, a stress. It doesn't matter. You just want to connect with that first. And that's where, when we start on this point, that even though I'm feeling, a lot of people ask, why do we have to say the negative? Why do we focus so much on the negative before we shift to the positive? And the truth is, we do that because we have to connect. We have to accept with what we're going through right now before we can flip it around. It's really easy to say, just think positive thoughts and everything will be okay. And I'm all for, living in gratitude and being positive and thinking positive thoughts and that sort of thing. But we have to connect with what we're actually going through in a moment. And so if we are experiencing stress, worry, anxiety, fears, pain, for us to just be like, well, I don't feel anything. I feel fine. Life is great. All is well. That's not going to help anybody. And so this is a little bit of everything. It's allowing someone to connect with what the problem is, the problem that they're facing, the challenges, and really just acknowledging the truth of it all. And then saying, even though I'm feeling this way, I'm open to feeling differently now. I'm going to shift this. I'm going to turn this around so that I can feel different now. And that's how it works so well for so many people, because they're like, wow, I feel heard. Like I'm actually, I'm hearing myself. I'm hearing the thoughts that are going on in my mind over and over and over again. And especially with the what if, and let's talk about this for a minute, is, sort of the what ifs that are going on right now, because the what ifs are like wide open, right? Especially with what's happening in the world. There's this, what if we never leave quarantine? What if, this virus never ends? What if I get sick? What if someone I love gets sick? What if my kids get sick? What if school isn't going to work out for my kids this year? What if, what if I lose my job? What if I don't have income? What if I can't pay my bills, right? There's so much of that. And our mind starts racing, and it gets to a place that it can be very irrational, because some of the thoughts that, we all can get pretty creative, right? When we get into that what if space. And tapping can really come back to bring us to this place of, it's okay right now. Right now, it's okay. And, and you could go to the opposite end and say things like, well, what if it all works out okay? What if, this actually works out better than I thought that it would have? What if I can get a great night's sleep tonight? What if I can have sweet dreams? What if I can sleep from the moment I lay my head down onto the pillow until, it's time for me to wake up in the morning?
So one of the things we've talked about a lot on some of the other sessions is, in Chinese medicine, a lot of people have problems sleeping if they have qi stagnation. So their qi isn't flowing smoothly. And one of the reasons that it might not be flowing smoothly is that you're not allowing your emotions to flow through your body. And so the way I describe that is either repressing them. So like you said, pretending like, trying to just be positive and ignore the fear or the worries, that isn't letting it flow through you, or just feeding it with your thoughts. So this is a good way to hear those thoughts, acknowledge them, acknowledge that, it's okay. We are all experiencing that. And then giving yourself the comfort. So it's a self-compassion practice, really.
It really is. And I add that into a lot of my tapping sequences with my clients, and for myself, of course. I'm having compassion for myself right now. I'm having some patience with myself. And the one thing that I'm hearing so much from all of my clients is they're like, I just feel so imbalanced. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I feel like I'm going crazy. My emotions are up and down and up and down and up and down. And everyone feels like it's just personal to them. Everyone feels like their own personal self is like going crazy because they can't manage their emotions and what's going on right now. And I'm actually about to record a video on balancing emotions around this. But, and what I tell them is that, number one, you're not alone in this. Everybody, I mean, every single person on the face of the earth is actually experiencing the same thing right now. I mean, people have different emotions and different circumstances, of course, but everyone is experiencing the same thing. And so, number one, just know that your emotions are totally normal around this. You're not going crazy. If you have anxiety, if you have some fears, if you have some worries, there's nothing wrong with that. But you don't want to stay here either. You don't want to be stuck in it. And so what this does is this really helps you to say, what, I am feeling anxious. I am feeling concerned. I am having craving for, a whole chocolate cake. I am, I'm having back pain because I've been sitting at my desk and, my desk at home and my, in my closet. I can't get in, and I'm feeling the stress there. And it's okay to just acknowledge that. And it doesn't mean you're going crazy. You just need to find ways to create balance and really hear it, acknowledge it, and know that you're okay and that you can let it go. And this really just helps. I mean, this can just bring it down from, like on a 0 to 10, I always ask people, we didn't do this at the beginning, but, to just think about the intensity of the stress in your body. And, many times people will start at an 8, a 9, and panic, anxiety, worry, fears. And they can come down to a 2 in like 5 minutes or less, or down to a 0 even, and even though people might just move to like an 8 to a 3, that's still a 50% difference, Yeah. So we'll just take what we can get in terms of just coming down, and people need to really give themselves the time, especially right now, to connect with themselves and just connect with what's going on, because otherwise what's going to happen, or what might already be happening for people, is that the stress is going to settle somewhere in the body. And as you said, we don't want that stagnation, because when that stress settles, if it settles in the back, if it settles in the neck, if it settles in an organ, wherever it is, I'm not trying to scare people with this, we just want to be able to just move it through. And if you can just move it through, just keep it going and think of it as going with the flow. And as you said, just like releasing the stagnation of it, then you'll be feeling pretty good.
All right. Something happened. Can you hear me?
I can.
I cannot see you right now, but we did have some questions, and so I want to make sure I get to those. Okay. But also, I wanted to share, you have some videos. You mentioned that you're doing a new one coming up soon, but you've already done some around anxiety during this time and how to manage your cravings. So we will be posting a link to your YouTube channel so that people can find those easily. Great.
Great. And overall, I have over 200 videos. Some are on my own channel, some are on the Mercola platform. So between the two, you can find a video for just about anything with tapping. They're each about, somewhere around 10 minutes, but can help people to reduce their stress considerably, or pain.
We had some questions. One from Lindsay was, do we need to do the other side of the body too? So you were talking about balance. My energy feels unbalanced. So when we do the tapping, should we be doing both sides?
Great question. Tapping works no matter how you choose to do it. You can actually use both hands. You can go like this and tap like this if you want. And you can tap like this if it helps you to feel more balanced. You can tap on one side, you can tap on the other side, you can tap both sides. It doesn't matter. It's really what works for you. The active tapping is really what you want to be doing. Just use whatever feels right for you.
Okay. And we got confirmation that earlier the video was working and that they could hear you when I was disappearing. So
okay, good. Good.
So it must have been on this side, whatever it was.
Okay.
So you mentioned that sometimes just tapping once, you can go from a 10 to 2 but I'm assuming that doesn't last forever. So, you know, if you're having problems sleeping and you want to do tapping, how often do you have to do it, or how long of a practice does it usually take before people start noticing some difference in their sleep?
So number one, I'm glad you mentioned this, because what I was going to say was I wouldn't do it right before you go to sleep. I would do it maybe a half hour before you get ready to go to sleep. For some people, the act of tapping can actually be stimulating. For many people, it's super exhausting or tiring, and people might just decide like, oh, I'm so tired now, I'm going to go to sleep. But for some, it is stimulating. And so you want to be able to do it, you know, a little bit beforehand, give yourself some time to wind down. I always tell people should tap every day. I mean, it's a self-help tool for the most part, unless you're dealing with something that, you know, is more challenging, and then you want to reach out to a practitioner. There's a gazillion EFT tapping practitioners around the world at this stage, and a lot of people work remotely. And so you really want to reach out for certain things like trauma and that sort of thing. Otherwise, if you're just dealing with some sort of stress, or you're having a hard time with sleep and that sort of thing, I would do it every day. And I would do it throughout the day. And what I recommend to people, if you can get tapping in 2 or 3 times a day, it doesn't have to take an hour. It can take, I mean, we did that was probably less than 5 minutes. Maybe it was 5 minutes. And if it brought you down considerably, then you know it can be just a matter of minutes. And so to do it every day. And if you're feeling some stress, if you need to get up and go into the bathroom, I always say, you know, first thing in the morning is a great time to tap. I love to do it in the shower. That sort of gets me going for the day. You know, you could do it when you go to the bathroom. Instead of scrolling on your phone, you can take a couple minutes and just do a little tapping and breathing and that sort of thing. But, you know, even an hour before bed, think about the things that have stressed you out. And maybe it's not about the pandemic. Maybe it's stress with a boss, or it's a stress about whatever, you know, your spouse, a partner, a kid, you know, whatever it is. Has stressed you, you're feeling stressed about something. And so you want to just go through and tap on those things, because you can go from being really super upset about something and feeling stressed to feeling totally calm and relaxed about it, literally in minutes. Sometimes it does take longer, of course. Sometimes you need to go through tapping rounds a bunch of times. In fact, the tapping round we just did here, you know, they might have to go through that a couple of times. And, you know, be sure to put your own words in if your own words resonate more than mine, because that's important. But you just have to do it. Tapping only works if you do it.
Yeah. And so one of the questions here was how to cope with pandemic stress disturbing sleep. I think you kind of just answered that. So going through the series we just went through multiple times as that stress comes up. So right now you might be doing it several times during a day.
Right. And I have a video on stress around the pandemic, around COVID-19. And it's a video specific for that. And that's on my YouTube channel, and Julie Schiffman. And so you can go right to that and you can watch that video and tap along with it. It covers a lot of different topics in the tapping rounds. But I know that it's been really helpful for a lot of people.
And I will, once we're done with this, I'll go to comments and post links to some of those, so it's easier for people to find those. Awesome. Also, we have Fiona is on from Scotland, so she was doing this right before bed. So hopefully you don't need to go right to sleep if it energized you, Fiona. Hopefully you have a half hour or so. Right.
Or hopefully it relaxed you. You know, for some people it really does. You know, sometimes I'm doing a session with somebody and they're like, oh my God, it could be 12 in the afternoon. And they'll be like, I got to go take a nap. I'm so tired right now, you know, because it just is so calming. So hopefully it helped with that.
Yep. The other thing, as far as pandemic stress disturbing sleep, we talk about this on others, but I would limit the amount of time you're on social media or the news to just a set time during the day, and really hold yourself to that time. Otherwise, being on social media at all right now, you're going to see things about the pandemic. So I would just limit the amount of time that you're on there, and that will help as well. And then after that time, you definitely would want to go through this tapping series.
Absolutely. No doubt.
So Julie, how can people follow you? This is a lot of great information. We've mentioned your YouTube channel already, but what else how can they reach you?
They can follow me on Instagram, and that is Julie Schiffman _tap into life. They can follow me on my Facebook page, which is Julie Schiffman EFT. That stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. So Julie Schiffman EFT. And my email is julie@julieschiffman.com. And that's last name is SCHIFFMAN. Sometimes people forget the C and then they can't find me, but for the most part, you could just Google me, you'll be able to find me. Yeah, those are the best ways to find me.
All right, are there any additional questions for Julie before we end this? As you're typing your questions, I will just remind everyone that we have more of these sessions. There is one on Thursday about gut health and how your gut health impacts your sleep. And next week, there are sessions about your sleep sanctuary, so creating the right sleep environment, as well as yoga nidra and self-compassion practice. Julie, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that something is happening and I might lose everyone fast.
Okay.
So I apologize if you had more questions. They are not coming up. I can't see them right now, but we will make sure that we look at them in the comments and get responses to you.
Definitely.
So I apologize to everyone for the glitches here, but thank you for joining us. Thank you very much, Julie, for your time today. I'm sure a lot of people will be going over this video multiple times.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It was great having this conversation with you today. Thanks, Amy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.